again, rail fans, and welcome back to another Double B Rail production. Today, we're in Crosse, Wisconsin for another few days of rail fanning before Thanksgiving. Our first train of the day one would be an eastbound BNSF grain train with an NS SD70 ACC number 1850 leading the way. And then about another 15 minutes later, we would see our next train. This one would be a westbound BNSF manifest with two BNSF Pumpkin -9s leading the way. And about another hour later, we'd move to one of our friends' backyards for our next train. This one would be a eastbound BNSF manifest. And this thing was long and he was going track speed. I'm not kidding you, this took 7 minutes to pass us. But anyway, it had a BNSF Gevo in the lead, followed by a Ferromex SD70 Ace and a BNSF Pumpkin -9 trailing third. After a quick break, we would then come out to the tracks again. This time, at around 3:30, we would see Amtrak 8 and a few other CPs that would be on the way. Amtrak 8 would have an old-style lash-up today with two normal P42s, 180 and 41. then see I-72 shoving back into the CP yard. Next up, we would see I-72 again, but this time he would be racing with CPKC 247, Bensenville, Illinois to St. Paul, Minnesota, daily manifest traffic. And this train was over almost a day late because he got out of Bensenville yesterday night at around 5 o'clock or so, and then now is arriving in Crosse at around 5 o'clock at night here. He would be racing I-72, and 247 would have a solo KCS GEVO, one in the front, one in the middle. And now I-72's work would be done for the evening, and now we would have to clear the siding to clear for our next CP train that would be arriving in a few minutes. And that CP train in question would be the daily CPKC 255, Bensenville, Illinois to Tracy, Minnesota, daily manifest traffic. This one would have a KCS BELLE leading the way and a BNSF ES40DC trailing second out.
Okay, are you gonna make cut, pull forward, shove in, or?
Correct. I don't believe we'll need it coming out, but I'll call you if I do.
Okay, sounds good, over.
And that would be all for day number 1. We would have 3 more days of railfanning that we can still accomplish. And now time for day number 2. We would then start off in the morning when our first train would be CP I-72's power pulling into the yard to get ready for its daily work. And our next train would be another Canadian Pacific freight train, this one being CPKC 248. Pig's Eye Yard in St. Paul, Minnesota, down to Bensonville, Illinois. Daily manifest freight traffic with a solo Crusty Beaver AC-44 leading the way with a fast bell and a freshly painted Kansas City Southern Gevo. And our next train would be another Amtrak, this one being Amtrak number 8, Seattle, Washington to Chicago, Illinois, daily passenger service with a ALC 42 number 308 and another P42 leading to Chicago.
Good day, Amtrak 8 out.
And our next train would be a crude oil train, this one being CPKC 540, Marquette, Iowa to Chicago, Illinois to the NS Interchange, as-needed crude oil tanks, with a CPGE in the lead and a KCS AC-44 NDPU. And our next train would actually be, surprisingly, a BNSF train. First BNSF train in a while from this video. But this one would be ZSTP-CHC out of St. Paul, Minnesota down to Cicero, Illinois. Daily Z intermodal traffic with an H1 leading and two more H2 Pumpkin Dash 9s leading for a Dash 9 trio. This is CPKC 2247, Bensenville, Illinois to Pig's Eye Yard in St. Paul, Minnesota, daily manifest freight traffic. And again, he's running very early today. I misspoken yesterday how he was late. Accordingly, they have been running 247 early now. It's coming in daylight now. Led by a UP rebuild AC 6000 CW. And in the middle would be something very special. CPKC number 7018, maroon and gray paint scheme. This is CPKC 249, Bensenville, Illinois to St. Paul, Minnesota, another manifest freight train. But this was a very early 249. Usually this train gets here past dark. But he was in daylight today, led by a Kansas City Southern GE, a CPGE, and an NS AC 44 C6M. Then we would come out a few hours later after dinner to get a few more special trains before the night would end. Our first train would be CPKC J20, Pig's Eye Yard in St. Paul, Minnesota down to Crosse, Wisconsin, is a daily local turn with two Jeep 20C Ecos in the lead. And our second train of the evening would be CPKC 149, Bensenville, Illinois to Roberts Bank, British Columbia, daily intermodal and auto rack traffic. This one would have a CP Gevo in the lead and a Kansas City Southern Gray Ghost number 4548 as a mid-DPU pushing to Roberts Bank, British Columbia.
Vehicle 584, no alarm. Link 13044, miles 431.3 out.
CP8932 west, over detector 231.3, no defects.
Approaching Monroe, no restrictions at sub 149 out.
And our next train would actually not be a CPKC train. Instead, it would be an Amtrak. This one being Amtrak number 7, Chicago, Illinois to Seattle, Washington, daily passenger service. This one would have a P42 leader and an ALC 42 trailing second. And our final train of this Sunday afternoon would be CPKC 529, Albany, New York to Mason City, Iowa, as needed ethanol tanks, with an NS-SD70 ACE leading the way and a WRFX XBN SD70 MAC leading the way to Mason City, Iowa. And that would be all for day number 2, but we'd come out tomorrow for more train action. Our first train on day 3, we wouldn't even get before we'd come down to the tracks, but it would be a CPKC phosphate train led by 2 CPKC GEs. Then our next train would be a BNSF train. This one being an eastbound BNSF sand train led by a BNSF SD70 ACE and a BNSF H2 GEVO trailing second. And our next train would be another BNSF eastbound, this one being ZSTP-CAC out of St. Paul, Minnesota down to Cicero, Illinois, with 3 more BNSF GEs in the lead and 1 pushing. This is CPKC Train 546, Marquette, Iowa to Chicago, Illinois, as needed ethanol loads, with a UP AC44CW leading, a CPGE and trail, and a UP AC6000 DPU. Our next train would be another CPKC train, this one being CPKC J20, Pig's Eye Yard in St. Paul, Minnesota to La Crosse, Wisconsin. We would then move over to the Amtrak station for our few more next CP trains because J20 was blocking the diamond and no BNSF would cut through. We would first see I-72's power reversing into the yard and then coming back out with a friendly crew. And our next train would actually be something very interesting. This one being 9 Tech 01 out of Pig's Eye Yard in St. Paul, Minnesota down to Bentonville, Illinois. This train is a track inspection, assumingly just inspecting the track with a solo Jeep 20C Eco leading and 2 coaches behind the engine. And our final 2 trains would be at Great River Landing Crossing. Our first train would be HGAL NTW out of Galesburg, Illinois to Northern Town Yard in St. Paul, Minnesota, with 2 BNSF GEs pulling hard. And our second to last train of the day would be probably one of our best trains of the day. This one being an eastbound BNSF sand train, UDNDZEN, out of Dorn, North Dakota, down to Zering, Illinois, with an EMD trio leading, and an executive Mac number 9650 is sandwiched between two SD70 Aces. And our final train of day number 3 would be an eastbound BNSF fertilizer train, led by a solo CSX SD70 MAC viewed from Grandad Bluff. We start off day number 3 seeing a UP coal train, CP 852 to coal loads to Marquette, Iowa, and we see CPKC 254 meeting 852 at Grand Crossing. And our next train would be at Great River Landing Crossing, this one being a westbound manifest, led by a BNSF SD70 ACE and a BNSF Pumpkin. Our next train would actually be an eastbound BNSF this time, this one being HNTWGAL, out of Northern Town Yard in Minneapolis, Minnesota, down to Galesburg, Illinois, led by 2 BNSF GEs and a Ferromex SD70 ACE pushing to Galesburg. I know I didn't do a voiceover for that last Autorack train, but it was nothing too special, just 2 BNSF GEs pulling an Autorack. This one would be a westbound BNSF sand train led by 3 BNSF GEs. And our next train would be another BNSF manifest. This would kind of be the BNSF rush hour for this afternoon, but this one would be HMINGAL out of Minneapolis, North Dakota, down to Galesburg, Illinois, with 2 BNSF H3 GEVOs and a Pumpkin Dash 9 leading, and then a DPU at the back. Wow, we've already hit the 40-minute mark of today's video, but don't worry if you keep watching, because we got another good catch coming up here. This train would be HGAL NTW out of Galesburg, Illinois, to Northern Town Yard in St. Paul, Minnesota, with 2 BNSF GEs in the lead and a BNSF GEVO in the back, which being a sticker unit, 6026, Northern Railway sticker. next train would be the daily BNSF Z SDP CHC out of South St. Paul, Minnesota, down to Cicero, Illinois, with 3 BNSF GEs in the lead. Our next train would be an as-needed Autorack train, VBLU-MIN, out of Blue Island, Illinois, down to Minneapolis, North Dakota, with 2 BNSF GEs in the lead. Whoa, 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 whoa. Watch out, excavator. We got a high priority train coming. This one was going to be QCHC STP out of Cicero, Illinois to St. Paul, Minnesota. The only reason this guy isn't similar to ZCHC STP is because this guy doesn't have any semi-trucks or UPS traffic. So he's less priority, but still pretty fast train. Our next train would be another BNSF manifest train, HBRC NTW, out of Chicago, Illinois to the BRC down to Northern Town Yard in St. Paul, Minnesota, with the BNSF SC-70 Ace in the lead with an epic K5 LLA. Our next train would be the final BNSF train to end the BNSF rush. This one would be a local LCHI 813, a La Crosse, Wisconsin to Hager City and back turn that runs daily and switches the customers in between. Led by a BNSF repaint SD40-2, an X Santa Fe Bluebonnet, and a B40-8 repaint X Santa Fe B40-8 number 511. Our final train of the La Crosse Railfanning Week would be HNTW BRC out of Northern Town Yard in St. Paul, Minnesota, down to the BRC in Chicago, with 2 BNSF-9s and another GEVO leading to the BRC of Chicago. I hope you all have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time on the next Double Bureau production.